Good afternoon. Good afternoon to everyone. I know that we're later in the day, but I had the the joy, I guess I should say it like that, of being able to be a poll chaplain today, and so that meant that I had to delay our time together. But I am grateful that we are able to share in just a few moments this afternoon. If you are here, why don't you let me know you are here so that I can speak to you? But today we are going to talk about something that I'm very passionate about, and that's fighting apathy. Today is election day 2022, and it's the midterm elections. And typically during the midterm elections, we kind of turn a blinded eye, a deaf ear, because we don't think it matters as much as the presidential election. But we now are coming to know that that is not true. Hey, Britt, that is not true at all. That we are finding ourselves in a moment where the decisions that we make right now will make all the difference in the world. We cannot go 2 years in Bedlam, so we've got to make some decisions. We cannot afford to be apathetic. Good afternoon, Miss Lucy. Good to have you here. So, Galatians 6 and 9 says, "Do not be weary in well-doing, for ye shall reap if you faint not." Apathy means that you have a whatever, I don't care, it doesn't matter, they're going to do what they want to do, they're going to do what they've always done mindset. And unfortunately, it bleeds over into every aspect of your life. Good afternoon, Lady Clarice. So my point to us today is we've got to be very careful that we do not let our disdain about the way things are going or the way things may go or the situations we find ourselves in as a culture and as a country and as the church. And that's a whole nother story, and we'll talk about that on a whole different kind of discussion. But that we cannot let ourselves become apathetic to the things going on around us. Good evening, Sister Miles. And the reason that we cannot afford to be apathetic is that when we decide that it doesn't matter, guess what? It doesn't matter. And then we don't matter. And as long as we don't matter to those who are in some form of authority, when we don't matter and they believe we don't think we matter, then there's nothing that they will not do to put us in the slots they want us to be in. Yes, we have some responsibility for this. Yes, we have some responsibility for the way that we allow apathy to fester in our community. The way that we will not say to someone who says it doesn't matter, yes, it does, because we don't want to have a confrontation. We don't want to have an argument. But if our passion is misguided, if we are over here being passionate about something, but then we are not able to get beyond the apathy in areas that are uncomfortable, then what we say is that we've turned that whole situation over to whoever the quote unquote highest bidder for our attention is. And that is always going to put us in position to be used and abused and taken advantage of by whoever, whatever is in authority. We have power in our faith. Our faith gives us power. But if we have decided that nothing matters, then that means that we're not even going to exercise our faith in those circumstances that we could change. So my word to us today is to fight apathy. Fight that that thing in your head, that thing in your spirit that says it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter and I don't care. Because as long as we keep not caring, the more people will do to us whatever they want to do to us. Our ability, our inability to see it coming sometimes, to see that there are those who instinctively separate us with little hairline things to make us try to take sides against each other, that is all a trick. And you're right, Sister Lucy, that it breeds contentment, but it's not contentment, it's complacency. And when we're complacent, there's a difference between contentment and complacency. Contentment is doing all you can and then being at peace with what you've done. But complacency is to not even try, to just say whatever it is, it is. And so on this election day, we've got to, and thank you for that, Sister Lucy, that on this election day, we've got to determine whether we are going to deal with the contentment in situations or whether we're going to be complacent. Because contentment says that I still have passion. Contentment says I'm still willing to fight. Contentment says that I am looking for peace after I've done all I can to stand. Paul doesn't say I'm complacent. He said he didn't say I've learned to be complacent. He said I've learned to be content, to be abound and abased, to be up and down. That happens in our lives. But when we are complacent, I know you did, but you gave me an opportunity to talk about it. When we become complacent, then they can bring it. They can bring whatever they bring to us and it won't matter at all. We will roll over and play dead. Not play dead as an individual, but play dead as a community of persons. Do we realize how much it took for grandmama and them, great grandmama and them, great great grandmama and them to be still enough and to fight underneath? They were still on the surface because they knew it would get them killed, but they were fighters underneath. When you think about that time between 1865 and 1965, when the bulk of anything that has happened for African Americans as a people happened, do you know why that happened? Because even though they were being beat on, even though they were being annihilated, even though they were being lynched, even though they were being all of those things, they learned how to look silent on the surface, but to fight underneath. And then they took that fight and they put it in us. And what happened is that we decided that the fight wasn't worth fighting anymore. And far too many of us have decided to lay down the weapons of warfare and say, I don't have to fight because whatever they're going to do, they're going to do. Well, here's my word of encouragement for you. If you are on the East Coast, you have exactly 2 hours and 23 minutes to get to a poll. If you're in Central, you have 3 hours. And if you're on the West Coast, you have some 5 hours to decide you're not going to be apathetic today. That today you're going to decide that I am going to be passionate about the decisions that will be made for my life and for the life of my children. If you don't want to think about you, think about them. Think about that little man. Think about that little princess. Think about those young people that are in your life, those little children that are in your life that you dote on. Do you realize that the decisions that we make today shape their future? So if you are listening to me in the car and you're on your way home from work, whatever it is you need to do to get to your polling place, do it. Is it being made easy for us right now? No. You may have to go some 20 minutes out of your way just to find a polling place and then stand in a line. But here's what I want to know. What kind of line do you want to stand in? Do you want to stand in a line where you're making decisions about your future? Or do you want to stand in a line that says that I've got to take whatever little morsel, whatever little ration somebody gives me because I decided to be apathetic? This encouragement today may feel more like an admonishment, and if it does, I apologize. I'm not trying to admonish you, but I am trying to encourage us that our apathetic view of life collectively as a people is going to help to make us have to look at how we're going to handle things on the other side. We have the opportunity as a community to turn things around, not only in the political arena, but in our neighborhoods, in our families, in our churches. We have that ability. But if we keep being apathetic, if we keep only dealing with mine and no more, guess what? We're going to find ourselves in a situation we cannot see our way out of. We always want to lay things on our faith. Well, if we're going to have faith, then we have faith that also has action. We can't just rest on our faith. What did James say? Faith without works is dead. And and if we're not going to do something about fighting against the apathy that is brewing, I mean, it is almost at a boiling point in our community. If we don't do something about it, we can't expect anybody on the outside to motivate us to do for us. Just had a conversation with my nephew, and he and I don't see eye to eye on everything politically. But what we did see eye to eye on is this. If we keep doing what we've been doing, we're going to keep getting what we've been getting. We've got to make a decision to do things differently. So, my encouragement to each of us today, and you pass this on to everybody you know who is saying all of that silly stuff about it doesn't matter. Send it to them and tell them this. If they don't want to stand in a voting line today, there's some lines they're going to end up standing in tomorrow. And if they don't want to do that, then they need to fight the apathy on the inside and find the spirit of the ancestors and fight and decide I'm going to let my voice be heard because my voice matters. So that's my rant. That's my rant. That's right, daughter. As for me and my house, no apathy is welcome. Amen. Listen, I love y'all. Thank you for being the Thriving Tuesday family. I love you. I want us to be the best us we can be, but we cannot get weary in well-doing because we will reap if we do not faint. No fainting, no apathy. Faith in action. God bless you. Heaven smile on you. No apathy. Faith in action. And be encouraged. See you soon.